My name's Brandon. I'm 36, and at exactly 2:02 on a Wednesday morning, my phone lit up with a message that hit me harder than a surprise slap from a flying sandwich. It was from my wife, Vanessa. Now, she was supposed to be stuck at some dull work event out in Reno. But instead of a boring selfie from a conference room, I got a photo of her standing arm in arm with her coworker, Trevor. They were outside one of those tacky wedding chapels, grinning like they'd just won the lottery, proudly holding up what looked like marriage certificates. The message read, "Just married Trevor. Been secretly seeing him for 9 months. Smoothest operation ever. Honestly, being with you was easier than swiping candy from a toddler." Then she followed up with this gem. "Thanks for being so gullible. Enjoy your lonely little world." I stared at the screen, frozen like I'd just walked in on a raccoon making itself at home in my kitchen. And then, channeling all the drama of a fallen king in some old-school tragedy, I tapped out a single reply. Okay. That was it. Drop the mic. Before she could even process what happened, I kicked into gear. Vanessa might have been clever about creeping around behind my back, but when it came to finances, total amateur hour. Everything we had? Legally in my name. The house, the accounts, even the credit cards she used, those were just add-ons under mine. Classic rookie mistake, Nessa. By 3:45 in the morning, I'd canceled her cards, reset every password she ever knew, and locked her out of anything she could access. I wasn't playing around. Next step? I rang up a 24-hour locksmith. Cost me $280, but let me tell you, it was worth every dime. I screenshotted everything, because in times like this, having proof is king. The locksmith showed up around 4:50 a.m., did his thing, and by 5:50, the locks were changed, garage code updated, and just like that, she was officially shut out. Then I crawled back into bed like some exhausted ninja who had just completed the emotional Olympics. When 8:15 a.m. rolled around, I got up and made my way to the kitchen. There I was, sipping iced tea, watching reruns of Top Chef. Because nothing says healing like Mark Tolbert calmly tearing apart someone's overly ambitious beat foam with the precision of a seasoned pro. And then boom, boom, boom. The front door started shaking like it was about to launch off its hinges. At first, I wondered if it was an earthquake, or maybe a caffeine-fueled group of missionaries. But no, I peeked through the peephole, and there she was, Vanessa. Her face was red with rage, and she was yanking on the doorknob like she was trying to cast a spell through the deadbolt. I took a long, slow sip of my tea. No rush. I strolled to the fridge, grabbed the big mason jar I usually reserve for summer days and overly nosy relatives. It was full of icy lemon water. I walked back to the door, let out a deep breath, and opened it just a sliver. "Oh hey, Nessa. Your keys don't work anymore, because you don't live here. Ring any bells? Reno? Trevor?" She shrieked, "You can't do this. I have rights. This is illegal." "Is it though?" I said. And before she could launch into whatever dramatic speech she had prepared, I tipped that mason jar of ice water just enough for a dramatic splash, more theatrical than harmful, but enough to freeze the moment. She shrieked like I'd dumped molten lava instead of water and stumbled off the porch like a cartoon villain slipping on a banana peel. "Cool off, take a breath, and go figure out your new address," I said. Then I calmly shut the door and went right back to watching Mark Tolbert roast a guy for serving raw chicken. The symmetry? Chef's kiss. Barely 10 minutes passed before I heard the sound of sirens. Yep, she actually called the police, saying I splashed her with a mason jar of water like I'd committed a crime. A couple of officers showed up looking like they were ready to defuse a bomb. "Sir, we got a report of a domestic issue," one of them said. "Your wife says you locked her out and splashed her with a jar of water." I replied, "Technically she's no longer my wife." And yes, it was a jar, but it was full of lemon water, like spa water. Not exactly a weapon. They asked to see proof. Lucky for me, I'd recently installed a porch cam, shout out to past me for being paranoid. They watched the footage, her knocking on the door, me calmly tossing the water, and her reacting with dramatic flair, slipping slightly as she backed away. "Ma'am, this isn't an assault," one officer said. "This is, well, hydration." I held out my phone. "Also, she sent me this." I showed them the message with the time and the photo from the chapel. "She married someone else this morning." The older cop raised an eyebrow. The younger one was trying not to laugh, but I saw the corner of his mouth twitch. Then they said, "She's also accusing you of stealing her things and taking her money." "Officers," I said calmly, "I bought this house before we ever got married. The cards were mine. She was just an authorized user." and I haven't touched a single thing that belongs to her. They asked to confirm the message was real. I handed over my phone again. After speaking to Vanessa on the phone, one of the officers turned to me and said quietly, "She's going to have to handle this with a lawyer. If she married someone else, we can't force you to let her in." I could hear her shouting through the phone, furious. The cops left after telling me not to mess with her personal stuff. I told them everything would be waiting for her outside, untouched. They nodded, asked her to leave, and drove off while she was still yelling something about emotional distress, and my hair still wet. I went back inside, poured myself another iced tea, this time with a little extra lemon for peace, and enjoyed the silence while Top Chef rolled on in the background. Thank goodness we never had kids. I got myself a lawyer the next day. His name's Dean Carson. Who else was I going to call? Dean Carson. I met him that same evening because I had a strong feeling this mess was just getting started. Sure enough, the next morning, right when I was debating whether to vacuum or just lean harder into my personal best in sheer laziness, chaos pulled up in the driveway in the form of a Toyota RAV4 and 4 angry passengers. I heard the tires squeal, doors slam, and that unmistakable sound of drama stomping around in high heels. So I peeked through the blinds. And there they were. Vanessa, still furious. Trevor, looking like he desperately wished for invisibility. Her mom, Marcia, clutching her pearls like I'd just rewritten the Constitution. And then at Jasmine. Now, Jasmine deserves her own paragraph. She looked like she stepped straight out of a superhero movie, confident, strong, and impossible to ignore. Let's just say Jasmine had a presence that turned heads the moment she walked into a room, confident and commanding. If gravity had a grudge, it'd be with her. Honestly, she doesn't walk, she hovers. I wouldn't be surprised if NASA offered her a satellite gig. They marched up like they were storming a castle. Vanessa started yelling, "You coward. You embarrassed me in front of those cops." I said, "Technically, you did that. I just held the door." Marcia jumped in like a church choir director during a street fight. All, "Young man, this is still her home." Really, Marcia? Then why'd she marry a slot machine tech in Reno last night? Trevor was hanging back, trying to become one with the bushes. "Can we not do this here?" he muttered. Jasmine crossed her arms, and I swear the sun went behind a cloud. Her crop top looked like it was struggling to keep up. Honestly, I think it had already given up. She goes, "You're being real immature, Brandon." I blinked. I'm immature? I didn't cheat on my spouse, marry someone I met at a casino, then show up at my ex's house like it's the season finale of Keeping Up with the Chaos. That's when Vanessa yelled, "We're getting the house appraised. I want my half." I just raised my phone, gave it a little wave. Smile for the camera. "Oh wait, that Reno wedding already nuked your claim. Sorry, honey, this ain't Monopoly. You don't pass go, and you definitely don't collect $220. Marcia gasped like I just dropped a hymn book in the middle of her sermon. Trevor just turned around and went back to the car like someone had finally given him permission to leave. And Jasmine? She stormed off with such force, even my mailbox didn't survive the impact. They peeled out in a rage. Mailbox might need therapy. I laughed so hard, I nearly gave myself a hernia. Called up Dean, told him, "Round 2 of the circus just wrapped. Check your inbox for the footage. God bless security cameras and lemon tea." Trevor, by the way, looked like the hangover from that Reno wedding was hitting hard. Realized his new wife was broke, homeless, and had a flair for public meltdowns. A few hours later, just as I was halfway through a burrito and an old Dolph Lundgren flick, guess who rolled back into my life? Yep, round 3. Same cast, same car, just more volume. Vanessa, now in full opera mode. Marcia, marching up the driveway like she's about to deliver judgment from Mount Sinai. Trevor, still hoping he might get abducted by aliens. And Jasmine, who definitely turns heads wherever she goes. I swear she hit the curb a full 2 seconds before the rest of her. Marcia's finger wagging like she was leading a symphony on speed. "We're calling the police. This is illegal." I leaned in the doorway, sipping my tea like I was watching fireworks on Labor Day. "Marcia, you want to try that again? Remember last time when the cops asked me if I was okay?" She sputtered. Then Jasmine stomped forward like a Viking ship about to ram the harbor. "You're way too controlling." I said, "I'm sorry. What was that?" I got distracted by, well, gravity. Is that a flotation device or a weather balloon? Then Trevor stepped up, puffing his chest like this was his big hero moment. "You're being unreasonable, man." "Oh, right. Almost forgot. Speaking of reasonable, I just sent your HR department the wedding pics." I'm sure they'll love the spontaneous workplace romance, especially the part where it happened in a hotel bar with company money. Trevor went pale like a ghost got scared of him. And then Vanessa started sobbing like she was auditioning for days of drama and deception. You're really taking advantage of me financially. Oh, you mean by packing your Forever 21 wardrobe in bubble wrap and putting it in the garage? Sorry, didn't realize careful packing was trauma now. I pointed. You've got 1 hour to load up and bounce. After that, I start charging rent. And yes, I will prorate. Then came the grand finale. They drove to the Penske I'd oh so generously reserved in her name. She swiped her card. Declined. Dead silence. Run it again, she hissed. Cashier shrugged. Ran it again. Denied. Twice. You want to call the bank? The cashier asked. Guess who pulled out his wallet? Yep. Trevor. Poor guy looked like he was buying his own regret. He looked like someone just told him the wedding buffet wasn't complimentary after all. You could practically see his soul leave his body as he handed over that debit card, and honestly, that moment alone made all this chaos totally worth it. I mean, I should have sold tickets. Now here's where it gets even better. My lawyer Dean gave me a call yesterday with some news. Apparently, Vanessa's trying to claim she was drunk and manipulated into the Reno wedding. She's asking for an annulment and even trying to stake a claim on our house because, get this, we were still technically married when she flew off to get hitched in Reno. Dean just about fell out of his chair laughing. He goes, wait, she gave you written proof of cheating and bigamy? She's toast. And through mutual friends, I found out Trevor is now living in his mom's basement. Turns out he thought Vanessa had money. Plot twist. She didn't. But oh, we're not done. Vanessa went full scorched earth mode. She began sharing her side on social media, portraying me as the cause of all the problems in our marriage. Her mom and sister blasted it everywhere, and to my surprise, a few of our mutual friends actually believed it. But see, Vanessa forgot one key thing. I'm good friends with Derek, our group's tech wizard. He helped me pull up some old Facebook messages between her and Trevor that went back over a year. She was bragging about playing the long game, about how she was securing the bag before she bailed on me. My favorite message? He's not the brightest. I've been pulling money from our joint grocery account for months. Almost have enough for my dream wedding with you, baby. Now, about that joint grocery account, it was just my account. I let her use it for household stuff, but when I checked the statements, she'd been taking out cash regularly. And she sure wasn't spending it on groceries. So, I posted those screenshots. Boom. Her whole victim story fell apart in real time. Then she hit me with what I call an extinction burst, one last wild attempt to control the narrative. She got her dad to call my boss. A grown man, mind you, saying, I'm concerned about how your employee is treating my daughter. Like we were in some high school drama and I'd stolen her lunch money. My boss, who had been watching this soap opera unfold like a premium Netflix series, just calmly said, please take your concerns elsewhere. Which, in corporate speak, means get lost, old man. Next, she tried a late-night drama attack. Around 3:30 a.m., she showed up trying to break into the house, screaming something about her grandmother's jewelry. Like I was hiding the crown jewels in the attic. Small detail, grandma's still alive. And last I heard, she wore that jewelry to bingo every Wednesday. Then she tried accusing me of killing her cat. Y'all, we never even had a cat. I'm allergic. Closest thing we had to a pet was a dying succulent she forgot to water for 3 straight months. Still not done. She started calling my mom. Full-on waterworks. Voice trembling like she was auditioning for a Lifetime movie. I made a mistake. Trevor meant nothing to me. Now, my mom runs on black coffee and spite. She didn't even flinch. She just said, you should have considered the consequences before spending all that time with him, sweetheart. Savage. Classy. Poetic. Even. But the final boss move? The one that really took the cake? I got a call from Linda, Trevor, mom. Now this woman talks like she drinks Chardonnay for breakfast and judges people for fun. She said, I think you should be the bigger person and take Vanessa back. Trevor can't afford a wife. She actually said that. Her words. She added, you know how young men are, they make mistakes. I had to sit down. Not from the shock, but from the sheer weight of her audacity. So I go, let me get this straight. You want me to take back the woman who was involved with your son, so he doesn't have to face the consequences. And she goes, totally serious. Well, when you put it like that, you sound selfish. Marriage is about forgiveness. Forgiveness? Lady, this isn't a Hallmark movie. It's a Tarantino divorce. I hung up before I said something I'd regret. Then I laughed for a solid 15 minutes. Forgiveness? Sure. Right after I forgive the cat I never met for dying so suspiciously. That night, Vanessa sent one last desperate text from a friend's phone, since I had her blocked on everything. You ruined my life. I hope you're happy. I replied, I am, actually. Thanks for checking. Then I blocked that number too. Just another day, another burner phone. Tomorrow was the first divorce hearing. And according to Dean, it'd be a cakewalk, since Vanessa technically committed bigamy. You know, that minor detail where you marry someone before ending your current marriage. And man, that hearing did not disappoint. It was courtroom gold. Drama, tears, the whole 9 yards. Tony Award-level performance. Vanessa showed up in a white dress. To divorce court. Because nothing says fresh start like wearing bridal white while legally untying the last forever. The irony nearly knocked the gavel out of the judge's hand. And of course, she brought her sister, Jasmine, who's a real handful. Those curves should come with a permit, or at least a warning sign. Folks could have gotten knocked out. I think even the bailiff kept his distance, probably just trying to survive the chaos. The judge's face when they walked in? Somewhere between a pastor accidentally officiating a stripper wedding and a dad realizing the family cat's pregnant and male. Absolutely priceless. Then, right in the middle of it all, Dean leans over and whispers, Hey, you got Jasmine's number? I just blinked. Come again. He goes, I've got a weakness for big personalities. She seems like fun and a comfortable person to be around. I stared at him, trying to figure out if he was serious. You're my divorce lawyer, and you're trying to get flattened by my ex's sister? He shrugged. I'll knock $220 off your bill. So I gave him the number. Don't judge me. That's emotional damages in cash form. Honestly, if he's gonna go out, at least let it be doing what he loves. Court adjourned, and I walked out feeling like I'd just binge-watched the wildest reality show ever, starring me. Anyway, Vanessa's lawyer tried pulling a last-minute Hail Mary. Said the Reno wedding shouldn't count because she was under emotional duress. Apparently, emotional duress now includes bad facial hair and a Costco membership. The judge leaned forward like he was actually interested. What exactly do you mean by duress? Her lawyer, looking like a kid wearing his dad's suit, said, Trevor promised her things. Made her think she had no choice but to leave her marriage. Then Dean stood up, powered by espresso and pure pettiness. Calm as ever, he said, Your Honor, I've got 57 pages of Facebook messages, yes, 57, where Mrs., actually, whatever last name she's using now, where the defendant planned that Reno trip over a year ago. He dropped the printed messages on the judge's desk like it was a mic drop at a rap battle. The judge started flipping through them, and his poker face slowly turned into something between disgust and trying not to laugh like a dad at a middle school talent show. Then he cleared his throat and asked Vanessa, Ma'am, did you write? And I quote, Can't wait to see his stupid face when he realizes I took him for everything? Vanessa turned red. Like lobster at a buffet red. That was taken out of context, she snapped. I couldn't help it. I leaned forward and said, What context makes that better? Were you talking about Monopoly? Dead silence. Then the judge banged his gavel like he was eliminating someone from a bad game show. Divorce granted. She walked away with just her personal stuff, her car, which she still owes money on, and absolutely nothing else. No alimony. No payout. Just her bad choices and a declined credit card echoing behind her. Actually, correction, she owes me alimony. For 5 months. Because I supported her through that certification course last year. Only $450 a month, but the look on her face was worth $1 million. So we're stepping out of the courthouse, me and Dean riding high on that sweet legal victory, and here comes Marcia, aka Mother of the Year if the year is 1975 and the competition is ashtrays. She starts screaming, You stole from my baby. Arms flailing like she could summon a lawsuit just by volume. Before I could say a word, Jasmine, yes, the one with the dramatic entrances, whips out a Starbucks cup and tries to throw it at me. Plot twist, she missed. Direct hit on Linda. Yep, Trevor mom. Who showed up to support young love, like this was a Hallmark movie, not Maury, Reno edition. Then all hell broke loose. Full-blown coffee fight. I'm talking mochas, lattes, pumpkin spice, flying like we were in some kind of caffeinated food fight. Security had to come out and break it up like it was lunchtime at a school for overly dramatic wine moms. Meanwhile, get this, Trevor didn't even show up. According to Linda, who was now raising her voice like someone cut off her Chardonnay subscription, her sweet boy had moved on, with a 23-year-old bartender. Met her at his own wedding reception. In the casino bar. Of course. Then Vanessa had her meltdown. And I'm not talking a single tear with a sad stare. I mean full-on ugly cry. Snot bubbles. Gasping wheezes. Like a toddler or someone lost in the desert. This isn't how it was supposed to go, she sobbed. Like life had denied her a rewards card for emotional manipulation. Jasmine tried comforting her. Still damp from a caramel macchiato. It's okay, sweetie. You can stay with me. And Vanessa, between sniffs, replied, I can't. Your apartment smells like cats and sadness, and your mattress is all spongy. Even Jasmine looked like she'd mentally checked out. Like she remembered her pride was in the glove box, and decided it could stay there. Last I heard through the grapevine, Vanessa's back living with her parents. Trevor is engaged to the bartender. Their company fired both of them for breaking the rules about workplace relationships. Marsha's now banned from 2 different Starbucks for yelling at baristas who happen to resemble Trevor. One poor guy was just trying to make a cold brew. Next thing he knows, she's yelling, I know what you did to my daughter, you overpriced coffee snob. As for Jasmine, oh, she's gone fully public. So, Jasmine goes on Instagram and posts a long, dramatic story about cutting ties with toxic family members and the daily challenge of finding bras that fit women with, as she calls it, natural assets. I read the whole thing. Twice. For research purposes, obviously. Even saved it, you know, in case science ever needs it. Meanwhile, Linda, yes, Trevor's mother, is actually suing Vanessa for emotional distress over what happened to her precious baby boy. Which is pretty bold coming from someone whose son picked up his new girlfriend at the blackjack table during his own honeymoon. As for me, I'm doing just fine. Sold the house for way over asking price. Guess scandal sells in real estate, who knew? Apparently, being the talk of the neighborhood gets you a bidding war. I'm moving into a sleek downtown condo now. Great view, concierge service, and not a single crazy ex hiding in the shrubs. Even better, I started dating Amber from my gym. She thinks this whole thing is comedy gold. Last week, she brought me coffee with "Not Trevor" written on the cup in big sharp letters. I laughed so hard I nearly pulled something in my back. Dean, my lawyer, actually got that Reno marriage certificate framed. It's hanging right there in his office, between a picture of him shaking hands with a Supreme Court justice and a bumper sticker that reads, Divorce. It's complicated, but cheaper than a courtroom drama. People ask me all the time, do you regret being this petty? Not even a little. She played stupid games, and she won herself front row tickets to Clown College. If I regret anything, it's not spotting the warning signs sooner. Like when she told me her ex was crazy for changing his Netflix password after she cheated on him. I should have packed my bags right then and there. If you're defending that, you're not wife material. You're a walking red flag disguised as a terms and conditions pop-up. So yeah, I'm good. I'm better than good. Vanessa, if you're watching, and let's be honest, you definitely are, because keeping tabs on this channel has practically become your full-time job. Just a quick heads up, Trevor's mom called you a gold-digging troublemaker at her book club, right in between Chardonnay top-offs and a very passionate debate about Downton Abbey. Also, I'm starting to think Jasmine might be dealing with what I call the unstoppable force syndrome. Don't look it up, it's not real. I made it up. But hey, I used artificial intelligence to name it, so now it sounds legit. Sue me. Actually, don't. Vanessa already tried that, and she lost. Spectacularly. Now about Amber and me. Things are going great. She's officially moved in, and let's just say, she's got some serious expertise. I had to retire Trixie and her 4 electric sisters. They served me well, but their time has passed. A moment of silence, please. Oh, and guess what? That bartender Trevor ran off with? Yeah, she dumped him the moment she found out he was already married. Plot twist. Her brother gave Trevor a little goodbye gift, a knuckle sandwich, and then kicked him out of their place. So, lesson learned. If you lie, cheat, and try to juggle 2 wives, you might just find yourself all alone with no ride home, and no one to cover your cab fare. As for Dean, he somehow worked his lawyer magic on Jasmine. He's been taking her to all the nicest places around town. Guy might be good at law, but he's always looking for a budget-friendly date spot. Just picturing the 2 of them together gives me the creeps. I mean, how do you even figure things out when Jasmine is involved? Dean called me afterward and said, and I quote, "That was the best time I've had so far." I can't help but imagine the scene. If he's in charge, does he bounce and roll off like a yoga ball? And if she's leading, does she accidentally flatten him like a pancake? It's like a slow-motion car crash. You don't want to look, but you also kinda can't look away. A few days later, Dean sends me the annulment papers Vanessa filed. And under reason for annulment, she actually wrote, temporary insanity. I mean, come on. You can't make this stuff up. The comedy writes itself. So hey, if you got a laugh out of this, drop a comment below, hit that like button, share it with your emotionally unavailable ex, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep your passwords safe, your standards high, and your coffee far away from flying family drama.